In the present day society, where there are a lot of conflicts from dawn to dusk, for every member of the society, whether it is a worker of an organization or any an ordinary a citizen, this has become a psychological point to be concentrated in order to keep the health of an individual and the organization. The necessity is to give psychological safety. This matters very much and we have to create it. It is vital the companies, organizations rethink traditional approaches, includes investing in creating and fostering psychologically safe environments at workplace. What is psychological safety? Let us discuss. A safety, according to Maslow's hierarchy, is a basic human need. To support high performing team, creating psychologically safe work environment is critical. This is beyond only basic human decency. Employee retention also possible only by creating a psychological safety. The term psychological safety was coined by Harvard Business School professor Amy Edmondson. She defines it a shared belief that the team is safe for interpersonal risk taking. Establishing a climate of psychological safety allow space for people to speak. I repeat, allow space for people to speak. A shared belief that the term is safe for interpersonal risk taking, establishing a climate of psychological safety, allowing for people to speak up and share their ideas openly, freely, without any hesitation. Creating a hesitation is creating a bad psychological arena. Edmondson says that when it comes to creating psychological safe environment, establishing norms is critical to success and participation. Why psychological safety is very much important at the workplace? An effective team values psychological safety as much as the physical safety and performance standards. Psychological safety at the workplace is important because of the following important reasons. It enhances employee engagement. It fosters an inclusive workplace culture. It inspires creativity and ideas. In order to creativity and ideas flow organically, team members must feel safe expressing themselves among themselves and with the organizational structure. Imagine how many inspired ideas were never shared because a team member did not feel safe sharing his ideas or feel that there is liberty, that there is a clear environment of sharing his ideas. Improves employee well-being and mental health. These two are very, very important, is this mental health and employees' well-being. It contributes to overall well-being when employees are mentally safe. It is easier for them to perform at an optimal level, to avoid stress, to keep them from doing that. It is keep them out from any suspicion and fear, and for doing the best, they must be given psychological safety. It creates a brand ambassadors, reduces employee turnover. It definitely, a recent study says that team members who feel psychologically safe at work are less likely to leave. In the end, why leave a company that treats you with respect and makes you feel safe and valued? This is very, very important thing for retaining people. It boosts the team performance when you have given highly engaged employees safety. And safety, when it doesn't, he will not feel to leave. The team perform, he likes the team. The moment he likes the team in a psychological safety way, that inclusive workplace culture, that brand, inspired ideas, teams perform to excellence and a beautiful way. It is time to put a psychologically safe workplace on the list of basic agenda of the organization and hold SBU heads accountable for implementing it. I repeat this sentence. SBU heads are accountable for implementing this. There are several stages of psychological safety I will describe. Stage 1 is inclusion safety. Stage 2 is learner safety. Stage 3 is contributor safety. Stage 4, challenger safety. You must allow the people to challenge the traditional ideas. They must fight with the traditional ideas in order to give a new idea born. It is crucial to prioritize high psychological safety to create a high performing team. Fostering psychological safety in your work means that you are fostering of creating a new ideas, new methodologies in improving your production process and creating an organizational total health. Creating psychologically safe work environment starts with coaching focused on behavior change. I repeat this sentence. This is very, very important. Coaching focused on behavior change. A coach to guide these processes at the individual level ensure that behavior changes are being taught correctly. Taught correctly. It is reinforced in real time through experimental learning for the individual. This is where the role of mentors, the role of onlookers who play a role, who play as guides and mentors for the work people, starting from middle management to the lower management. Creating psychologically a safety place and psychological safety in their minds. Practice active listening and curiosity. There will be a number of people with curiosity to express something, maybe at times wrong, maybe sometimes right, but they must feel psychologically feel that he can practice active participation and there is somebody to listen and there are people to listen his curiosity. That curiosity has to be developed and he should feel that his curiosity is explained to the team or the top management so that he will get the psychological safety and he will become active participant, active workman to live and the fearful things and create open society, openness, and that will breed the passion and attitude in creating new ideas and new methodologies. Here, the role of SBU head is as a team leader, he must promote respect to the people who give ideas, who curiously follow the discussions and debates whenever his team meets and whenever even in the organization working process. He must lead by example. Anyone in a position of responsibility should set an example for the rest of the company. This is applicable from senior management down to the team leads and managers. If done properly, ask for upward feedback, acknowledge your mistakes, be open to opinions that differ from your own, be approachable that encourage reports to ask questions. That is where the role of the SBU head, he shall embrace the vulnerability. What is this? According to Edmondson, leaders owning their vulnerability and fallibility is a mark of true strength. I repeat this wonderful sentence, which is a guiding force for any leaders of the organization. Leaders owning their vulnerability and fallibility is a mark of true strength. It shows a willingness to improve and a recipe for encouraging open and honest feedback. When leaders acknowledge their own fallibility, it allows the team and the organization to learn and improve. Importantly, it creates a space for others to admit their own mistakes, their own models, and ownership of the mistakes is valued by the company. Unless an individual owns his mistake, he cannot realize the new methodology, new method to perform things without any mistakes and interruptions. For this, it is necessary to foster an open conversation with ground mindset, with a growth mindset, talking to the ground mindset, that facility, and with a growth mindset, an open conversation, a debate at times. And people may differ. Some people may express their things in a very fast way. Some people may express at times with coercion. Some people may express a different high pitch of the voice. But all these things have to be given a cushion to absorb. They feel that to give a feeling to them, psychological feeling, that they can curiously tell what they feel without any hesitation. Encourage teams to share feedback with one another. Help them to learn how to respond to input from others. Encourage teams, individuals to see feedback as a way to strengthen and build upon ideas. Important thing above all is empower from a place of privilege. If you are someone who is not underrepresented in your community, make efforts to give a leverage your privilege, empower, understand colleagues, empower underrepresented colleagues. There may be a section of the people who think they are underrepresented. You give a feeling that they have a proper representation. That also creates the greatest level of psychological safety. Team members shall promote psychological safety at work. This is a group work also. Team as a whole, not only a leader, but also the entire team as a team members also can create psychological safety at work. Pose a check in question. This is one important methodology. Make practice of taking 3 minutes at the beginning of meeting to pose a non-work related check in question to participants. Host an anxiety party. This team, as explained by Daniel Burka, describes the practice used normally ventures design team. It creates a structure for bringing anxieties out in the open. To avoid the anxiety of an individual worker and individual manager, there must be space to open it out, ventilate it, and clear from his mind. This normalizes the vulnerability and uncertainty in the minds of the people, and it creates stability by avoiding uncertainty. Have each person spend some 10 minutes writing down all the work in a week, what he has done, to summarize his views in the process of the work for every week, and allow time to listen for a few minutes. Start alone makes up the pre-work, silent individual reflection and writing down ideas prior to having a group begin brainstorming or weighing on someone's work. This allows people to participate equally. It also works against the piling on. Share your stories. A group as a whole, every individual must be prepared. An environment must be created in that group work that everybody must feel happy to share their stories, their experiences, their views on the work. Psychological safety does not just come from the top. Team members need to take responsibility of creating a better environment for each other. Practice active listening. Active listening is the greatest key. Ask thought-provoking, open-ended questions. How to know your employees feel safe? There must be a methodology. There must be a monitoring system. There must be a mechanism to measure how employees feel safety, how safe they are. While many managers may not recognize the importance of psychological safety for effective teamwork, but it shall be the part of the management process. What these leaders might miss is how no one on the team feels psychologically safe if even those who fit in with the group and that lack of psychological safety might be costing the team and the organization very heavily. When team members do not feel safe, they adjust their behaviors and responses and create a less effective team in order to adjust. If everyone in the team is doing that, the team leader may not realize how much disengagement and unproductive behavior has taken root. Here, the leader shall not fail in gauging the mood, in assessing the people whether they are feeling psychologically safety or not. Your employees are actively sharing opinions. People are use clear, direct, respectful language without adding lot of caveats. Someone asks for feedback, others give them feedback, both positive and negative. Negative feedback is received as constructive criticism. There are multiple channels for employees' feedback that have to be created by it is the duty of the SBU leader in order to create a make psychologically safety a priority at workplace. That will give great things to the organization. A lack of psychological safety at work has major business repercussions. It is a shared belief held by members of a team that others on the team will not embrace, reject, or punish you for speaking up. That is what is the great feeling which you create. That will give the real psychological safety. According to Dr. Annie Edmondson, author of the Fearless Organization, I repeat, she is a great author. Please read. According to Dr. Annie Edmondson, the Fearless Organization creating psychological safety at the workplace of learning, innovation, and growth. People must be allowed to voice half-finished thoughts, ask questions about of the left field, and brainstorm out loud in order to create a culture that truly innovates. Loud in order to create a culture that truly innovates. It is this innovation that will give real psychological safety. The psychological safety at work, do that everybody is nice all the time, that you embrace the conflict and up, knowing what your team has and you have their back. This is what is the crux of giving psychological safety. And coming to the real initiatives to be taken by the leaders, embrace productive conflict. Let there be conflict. You must be able to resolve the conflict, but engage in a productive, embrace the productive conflict. You try taking some small intentional steps to increase psychological safety at work. The members can help create more psychological safety at work too. So both leadership and the members put together, the team leader, the SBU head, some starting top to down, whenever they feel there is a psychological safety of expression, especially communicating their ideas, communicating their questions, a free discussion, an open-minded discussion, and a feeling that there is somebody to listen, that their curious questions, to listen to their curiosity, to listen to the questions whether they are good or bad. That is the real foundation of psychological safety, that make it an explicit priority. Please make it an explicit priority. Facilitate everyone speaking up. Establish norms how failure is handled. Failure shall be owned by everybody, not throwing. That culture of escapism shall be avoided. It creates space for new ideas, even wild ones. At times, a younger generation of a leader, younger generation of a worker may give you a wild idea which may be acceptable or may not be acceptable. That has to be properly listened and that has to be properly debated. And that feeling must be given that younger generation is also held, is a respect, and they are also heard with all attention. With these things, definitely a leader can create psychological safety which will lead the organization to achieve excellence of a high distinction. This is the real way of encouraging the people for productive ideas. Thank you very much.